Hello everyone, I am Vibha Sharma. I teach in Department of English and I welcome you to this MOOC course on studies in theatre. The title of the course indicates that we are going to talk about theatre, and therefore let us begin with finding out what is Introduction to Theatre History. Friends, you are aware that theatre is a very widespread discipline. The moment you speak of theatre, what comes to our mind is a proscenium stage, that we are watching something happening on stage, there are actors who are present there. Well, this is a very right perception, this is a very absolutely correct idea. But let me also add that theatre is one of the journeys of human world that has been going on ever since we started communicating, we started expressing, and we started to entertain ourselves. Which means that it's there right from the beginning. But in what shape, in what colors, in what hues was it present right in the beginning? This is some question to have quest for. So, in the beginning, when we were looking at the world around us as Homo sapiens and were trying to develop everything around us, we were looking at various insecurities, various fears of unknown, and that gave us some kind of motivation to find out what is the world around us. This fear of unknown also gave some kind of desire to find who will take care of us, who will give us security. And the security we thought is in the form of some powers that protect us, and therefore started faith, worshipping, rituals, and started the performance of all these. So when we started to devote ourselves towards the fear of unknown in order to keep sustenance in our life, we started performing also. This ritual is a very, very crucial point that gives us the sense of performance. We do it in a certain organized way, even if that is worshipping or devoting some kind of gift to the Almighty or anyone around us. So right in the beginning, it was the rituals that gave birth to performance around us. And that's how theatre got developed. The evidence of this is visible in the prehistoric caves and the paintings visible in the caves that are in Africa and other places on this earth wherever the prehistoric discoveries have been made by the anthropologists and archaeologists. In these paintings on the cave walls, we can see that our forefathers had a lot of things to share with each other. When they would come back from a good hunting, a good food was round the corner. A feast would go around because having good food was something very important. It was not served on the platter, it was not served in the kitchen, but we had to hunt it. And a whole group of people would hunt down a big animal, and then they would have good food for many days. And there were stories around, how did I kill that? Where did it come from? Who was running after? Who helped me out? And how did we plan, etc., etc. So these would be performed when somebody would be standing and others would be listening. Isn't this the perfect scenario of a theatre performance? Yes, it is. And there begins our theatre as discipline. Now, this keeps evolving, this keeps converting into a very, very complex process with every step taken towards civilizing ourselves. and theatre begins its journey with human beings. That's why I said that it has been with us for a long time, ever since the inception of our journey on this planet as people who communicate and who want to grow. Therefore, there are certain important points of departures which form the paradigm of studies in theatre, because we need to have certain points of departures in order to study something as an academic discipline. And right now, we are into studying theatre as an academic studies and an academic paradigm. So we have certain points of departures. Now, another thing that we must understand is that theatre is not something that grew in only one part of our planet Earth. It grew everywhere there were human beings, wherever they were trying to speak, to express, to worship, to follow the rituals, to communicate with each other, to entertain each other. Theatre was developing. So there is always this debate, like which is the earliest one. And I think that debate will always remain an open-ended discussion and a point of inquiry for the researchers, because we have not yet started the historicizing and the researches in many parts of the world where education, research opportunities, and archaeological surveys and anthropological projects have not been up to the mark. So we cannot give this statement that which is the first one, which is the earliest one. But there are some very much known institutions of theatre cultures, and they are our points of departures when we study this introduction with you today. So I move on to my next slide, and as you can see that, let us see the word theatre. Theatre has come from the word Greek language, theatron, and it means a place for viewing, where we sit together, a place where we watch something together. So it reflects the ancient Greek origins of theatre as a communal gathering for witnessing performances. But there are other words like play, drama, performance, which often confuse us that should we use them interchangeably, or are they different from each other? They similar to each other? The answer to this question is that we can do everything. All these questions have a positive response, because theatre encompasses the physical space, building or venue where live performances take place, but it also represents the entire process. The actors, directors, designers, technicians who bring drama to life. And it involves the presentation of a dramatic script or story to an audience through the live performance. Now, drama refers to the literary form of a story, often a narrative with characters, dialogues, and a plot. It can exist in written, in spoken form, and is primarily focused on a written narrative or a script. So, play and performance is now another dimension. A play or performance is the actual live enactment of dramatic script or drama on stage. It can exist in written or spoken form and is primarily focused on the written narrative or script. It can be read, performed. So play is being performed. Play means the action that is taking place when we convert that drama into some kind of action on the stage. So the performance aspect of theatre is the culmination of the creative process and is experienced by the audience. It involves actors portraying their body, using their gestures, hand movements, makeup, costume, as per the requirements of the script of the play. But we can always use these words interchangeably, because these are not watertight compartments. And many a times we do use them in a very exchangeable manner. Now, the beginning of theatre as of now is present for us in the form of various civilizations, and we, as I already indicated, that rituals, storytelling, performance were intertwined in the beginning, that gave us the initiation of theatre as one specific aspect of human culture. It began as communal and ritualistic form of expression, often connected to religious ceremonies. You can see these pictures that are visible in front of you, that these are from different civilizations. These pictures actually showcase that how these different kinds of cultures were evolving, where people were trying to dance or dress up or put on mask or represent a story or narrate an incident. And these pictures are also the real evidences. These are documentations in the form of frescoes, paintings, and various other kinds of sculptures. So this is one thing. Now the second thing is that which are those civilizations? As I said, that it was developing in various parts of the world at the same time, more or less in the same time frame, because couple of centuries do not make a difference, a big difference, when we look at the temporality of the human systems and human cultures. So ancient Greek theatre, which emerged in the 5th century BCE, laid the foundation for Western theatre. What we today call Western theatre has its foundation in Greek culture, and in that you can see in this picture outdoor amphitheatres, elaborate masks, and a focus on Greek tragedies and comedies were the characteristic features. Oedipus Rex, one of the very prominent plays of this time, is popular even today in syllabi and in performance spheres. Then you can see the amphitheater that is visible. It is one of the oldest ones. It's present in the Epidaurus, the ancient city in Greece. And now we come to Roman theatre, which followed the Greek theatre. So Roman theatre had its own features, although it borrowed a lot from Greek theatre because it was a successor. It was a succeeding civilization of the Greek theatre. It was and it evolved some characteristics like grand amphitheaters. A lot of constructions were done during the Roman theatre period, and it also included the famous Colosseum that is present in Italy. If you visit Italy, you can see that, and pictures are also available, and that was constructed during the time of Roman period, Roman civilization. Therefore, it falls in the category of Roman culture. This period of theatre, this civilization of theatre productions also saw the rise in farce and mime. These are very important genres that have survived today in very complex form and are very much visible all around us. So that is also very important. As you can see in this picture which is visible, this is a drawing of an ancient Roman pantomimus, somebody who performs a pantomime, and he is wearing a very loud mask and a tunic which covers the upper body in order to look comic and funny. So this is a very important thing. Now moving on to Indian theatre tradition, which is also one of the oldest theatre traditions of the world. It is rich and diverse tradition of theatre that spans more than 2 millennia. And the origins of this theatre tradition can also be traced to ancient rituals and storytelling practices, of which I narrated about in the beginning of my lecture. Now, closely linked to religious, mythological and cultural themes, Indian theatre tradition also offers various kinds of facets that are beyond the religion mythology aspects as well. Some of its key features are that it includes Sanskrit drama and old performance traditions like Kudiyattam, Yakshagan, and in Sanskrit drama, all of us have heard about Kalidas's play. Another playwright that comes to my mind is Bhash, whose plays are even older than Kalidas, and he also wrote in the same style, that is Sanskrit plays in classical style. These plays are very famous for their rich dialogues, music, dance, and a very perfect dramatic grammar and dramatic discourse. The Sanskrit theatre and all these ancient theatre cultures in India have influenced the canvas of performance in the Indian subcontinent as well as beyond the Indian subcontinent very much. Traditional theatre even today continues to be performed in its original method also, and in its innovated version, and in whatever innovations that have come over the period because of the changes in our world order, changes in our lifestyle, and changes in our interests. So this is also a very important component. In my lectures to follow, this Indian knowledge system will be one of the important focus. Friends, now you may think, why am I talking about the European system through the perspective of only one kind of culture of theatre or theatre tradition? Because it is, as I said, introduction to theatre history. And in this lecture, therefore, I am trying to cover various perspectives which cover the globe, and the most important representations and documentations in history are therefore chosen for today's discussion to create a perspective of history. And this is a dimensional lecture where certain agendas are being set, and we will keep exploring many more things about whatever is being represented today. Now, in the Middle Ages in Europe, because European Middle Ages are known for being the Dark Ages and for other things, which we must not apply to all the world order, because different places had different cultures and different kinds of progress and prosperity. All the world was not into Middle Ages, per se, Dark Ages. So medieval theatre was dominated by religious themes and performances, because by this time Christianity in European continent had started taking a very specific institutionalized shape, and a lot of funding was required for performances, which is always the case to promote art and culture. So theatre therefore came close to religion. In fact, performances were guided by the stories, biblical mythology, and the life of Jesus Christ. And mystery plays, morality plays, pageants, passion plays, these were common, and they were often staged inside the premises of either a church or a cathedral. And one of the very famous plays of this time is Every Man. You can see these interesting pictures which are visible in front of you, that how it must have looked like to present theatre, to present plays, perform plays inside the premises of church or a cathedral. These pictures are representations of a kind based on information. They have been drawn by not very old artists, but yet they serve as some kind of evidences for us. Moving on, now we come to the Italian Renaissance and theatre. Now in this period, we can see there is something very interesting going around. Because of the Dark Ages, there was a kind of decline towards the open celebration of art and cultural pursuits. It was a very restricted kind of atmosphere, but this period, that is called as Renaissance and a revival, that gave a fresh air and a fresh perspective to art and culture, as is evident in many other discussions related to literature and various things. Theatre also was the beneficiary of that, and this was revived in Europe, and the artistic center for this was Italy, because it began from there, and a lot of things can be attributed to the different kinds of radical changes that were happening because of revival of learning, that is Renaissance. Playwrights like Machiavelli and the development of Commedia dell'arte were significant. Machiavellian plays are very famous. We do study them in various other contexts, and literature students definitely must have heard about them. Commedia dell'arte means the art of comedy, and this took a very specific shape and a very important strength in this period, because comedy got signified for having the power to say very much those things which could not be said in a very serious way, and therefore it started emerging as one of the interests for people of art and performance. You can see in these two pictures very interesting enactment are there. In the first picture, you can see that the Zanni, the one who performs this Commedia dell'arte, he leads with his feet, means they have to have certain kind of body language, they have to have certain kind of attire, and which is spoofing and loud. It makes people laugh, and they have to do some kind of slapstick actions. That is Commedia dell'arte representation. In the second picture, you can see that a very interesting stage is erected and people are watching while they are standing. The audience is standing and there's a balcony in which people are performing, the actors are performing, and it is being watched from outside. Now, at this juncture, I would also like to draw your attention to one fact, that we started from amphitheater, open amphitheater, and now we have seen the structural changes that are coming around. The place where we perform, the theater where we perform, is taking a very specific shape, and it is changing, it is evolving for the better. More and more facilities are visible. There are, you can see in this picture that amphitheater is open, and but when you move ahead, you see that the stage has changed a lot. There are a lot of elaborations. By the time we reach the Italian period, the Renaissance period, we can see that there are so many changes which are visible. It is well decorated. There are detailed attires, and the screen is being used in the backdrop. The colors are visible, and the audience has lot of scope to watch it closely. They can see closely and they can enjoy it more. Now, these changes are also important documentations of how theatre has evolved, because it is not just what is being done on stage that is important, but how the shape of the theatre, the stage, the proscenium is emerging, the place where audience sit, that is emerging. This is also an important aspect of studying in theatre culture.